Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Insurance Experts. It's my pleasure to have on the line Rod Crandall. Rod and I know each other because we're both affiliated with the LTC program, one of the premier training organizations in the long-term care space. Thanks for being with us today, Rod.
Hey, I appreciate being here. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit more about your background. How did you get into the long-term care space?
Yeah, so I started with a mutual company in September of 2000, spent about 5 years with them, and then transitioned into a wealth advisory group as an insurance specialist, primarily to have bigger impact and be with clients more and have less of a marketing function, just trying to get the individuals to meet with me.
Okay, so your primary practice is working with advisors who have clients and helping them with long-term care, is that right?
Yeah, correct. I have about 40 advisors that I serve pretty regularly as their estate planning and long-term care specialists that they bring me in with their best clients to complete the financial planning work that they're doing for them.
Okay, and how did you get into the long-term care space? I know that's one of your specialties.
Oh, for sure. I mean, right away, long-term care was presented as something so important. And today I really believe it's the single most important planning item that we deal with. And we can't really have a comprehensive financial plan without having at least a discussion about what kind of plans we might have for a long-term care event.
So why is long-term care so important to you?
Well, in my opinion, the reality is that the vast majority of our clients are going to be affected in one way, shape, or form. And in being affected, it's very likely going to happen at more advanced ages where our ability to recover and the ability to maximize our income may be gone or dramatically decreased. And so that's really why I think it's so important.
So you said you work with planners. Tell us a little bit more about the advisors you work with.
Yeah. So generally, the advisors I work with will be independent financial advisors tied to a broker-dealer or an RIA, or many of them are dually registered, primarily in the business of asset gathering, financial planning, and maybe asset allocation. And I'm helping them round out their services to thoughtfully and intentionally incorporate insurance planning inside of their practice.
Okay. And I know you had an advisor you were working with their clients recently. Tell us a little bit more about that advisor in particular.
Yeah, I've got a great advisor that's out in an affluent suburb in Chicago. Fits the profile of exactly the type of advisor that I work with. And they're generally working with what I would consider to be the mass affluent, maybe those with net worth between 1 and 5 million, a lot of pensions. There's a lot of teachers with great pensions out in the Chicagoland area, and really putting together income plans for them. And we have to address the what ifs. And those what ifs generally, long-term care is right at the top of that list.
Right. And I know you had a couple of clients you worked with recently with that advisor. Tell us a little bit more about those clients too.
Yeah, what was interesting is there's two clients that fit sort of the same profile. They were both widows and both really had a great plan in place, both of whom had personal experience with long-term care as caregivers and saw both the emotional and the financial impact of that. In my opinion, they both presented themselves to the financial advisor in sort of a desperation mode where they really wanted to place long-term care insurance, and both had talked with several insurance salespeople, and both were very confused and really wanted to implement something for them, but didn't understand what the differences were, what the smart decisions might be, and what that really meant to them in their plan.
I see. And now, did they have any health issues? How old were they approximately?
Yeah, they were both in their mid-60s. There was no health concerns. I mean, I say that everyone has some, but no, they were both standard risks, moderate blood pressure, cholesterol type things, but in good health for sure.
Okay. And so what were you able to do for them to kind of take away the confusion, because they had worked with, it sounds like, a lot of different agents already. Right. How did you clarify this planning for them?
Well, in my opinion, the main thing was giving them the right context. Okay. And they talked to insurance salespeople out of context, and they were asked to buy products, and they were asked whether they want to buy this product or that product. And they had multiple conversations, and they both quite literally had a stack of illustrations, and they were just confused. And what I help do for them is sort of maybe three things. The most important thing is put it in the context of the financial planning that they're doing. And the biggest context is that we're really dealing with retirement portfolio protection, right? If they get sick and they need care, they're going to get the care they need, and it's going to cost something, right? And the second thing we did was put together what I consider to be executive summary, or a one-pager. I like to call it a 2 or 3 lane highway for long-term care. So kept that an executive summary first and helped them understand what the different structures have in common. Then I asked them to eliminate some of the structures as a way of determining what sort of course of action they want to take.
I see. And what types of structures do you typically offer?
So it varies slightly, but I certainly offer traditional long-term care, even in today's marketplace. We do a lot with lump sum structures that would create multiple account values. I also utilize some guaranteed universal life structures with long-term care riders. And a lot of it depends upon what the client situation is, on how I distill that down to the 2 or 3 lane highway. Sometimes it's a 4 lane highway.
Right. And for these two clients who are widows, which structure appealed most to them after you'd gone through that process of elimination?
Yeah, they both implemented the traditional long-term care structure, and both implemented in the around $5,000 a month range for 4 years.
Okay, in terms of their benefit.
I'm sorry?
In terms of their benefits or their premiums?
So no, their benefits. So we'd be talking about a big pool of benefits, maybe approaching $500,000 at age 85. Which again, I'm positioning as retirement portfolio protection. Both of these ladies had great income through their pensions and had a few $100,000 invested besides. And having that conversation about what would the double dipping effect be on their overall portfolio, and what effect would it have on their legacy, and what quality of care could they receive.
I see. And how much did it cost them to get that $500,000 of benefits at age 85?
Yeah, probably around $400 a month.
Okay.
For that, and that they took inflation protection, right? Both of them. I think that's very important.
So it's kind of a pay-as-you-go model, but get them as much protection as possible when they need it the most.
Correct. That's right. And I think they were really, really happy with that, because we showed them how we could take maybe less than 3% of their income and divert that to create a long-term care bucket approaching $500,000 at their age 85. And they saw the value in that. And they saw that, that is indeed affordable when you really look at it that way.
Right. Well, thanks for sharing this story. I'm sure we'll have you on future episodes as well. I appreciate your expertise and for helping your clients get a long-term care plan.
Hey, well, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate you having me on, and thank you very much.